Hello, everybody. I am Tamara, a JDA expert and a senior consultant at Global Technology Solution, and I will be your presenter for today's webinar. The session will be divided into two parts. The first 15 minutes will be covering a presentation, and the second part will be going through a system demo where we'll be highlighting on the new add-on to JD AdWords, which is the process modeler. So we'll do the process modeler as a system, as a demo on the system. And of course, for Q&A, please let's note down the question, and we will have 10 minutes at the end of the session for all your questions. So let's start. As we are all witnessing today, how technological advancement and innovation are revolutionizing the world industries. JDE is enduring the transformation journey, ensuring the future success and growth of the enterprises. On this release, we are thrilled to share with you the new enhancements. This release is a digital release focusing on the continuous journey of automation, optimization, transformation of the business processes. Through our webinar today, we will be highlighting the key feature enhancements. And we, again, will be drilling down specifically to the enterprise process modeler. When we talk about the key business enhancement, we have the ongoing enhancement and addition to the automation cycle. As we all know, when we're going digital, everything we need to automate, all the processes to reduce the error of coming from data entries. We have enhancement on the UX, which are the user experience in terms of E1 pages, types, additions, and different ability to call orchestrations and even notifications through personal forms, specifically form extensions. We have the main new and very interesting feature, which is the enterprise process modeler, voucher match automation, and the new add-on of it, which is the two-way automation. And we move to the technical enhancement as well. This time we will be highlighting the technical enhancement, such as optimizing package build performance, simplify development client, and many improvements on the orchestration capabilities, in addition to and not limited to performance of workbench integration. When we talk about optimized package build performance, starting with this new release, the package build application enables administrators to alter the package build to not only comply the functions that have been updated since the last active full package. What we mean is that now you have the new insert or the introduction of a new functionality, which is called the net change logic. It means when you perform a package build deploy, we don't need to repackage and build all the business functions that already were done maybe a couple of times before. No, what now happens if we take only the net change option, which taking only the business function or the tables or the event rules that have changed from the last package and deploy it. So this is exactly how the optimization of the package works. This net change build option, which triggers the package build processes to evaluate a list of business functions that have changed between the last full package and the new package build to date. So what are the benefits? When we talk about the benefits of this optimization or of the net change logic in the package build, we have improved the performance of the complete cycle by 85%. So now you can do it in an 85% time. Not only that, when you say we reduce the build time, we're talking about also taking advantage of zero downtime for the package deployment, because we're taking only the changes, so everything else can stay working as it is. Simplified development client. Again, simplified development client is also a new architecture related to the technical enhancement of Release 25. This new architecture directly connects the workstation and development client, which is the FAT client, to an HTML server in the same network, which is configured. If you notice on this workflow, the new architecture, it has been, the local web has been eliminated. So now everything is connected directly to the browser, which is to the HTML server. By removing the local web server from each development client, this provides the following benefits. Centralized location of a development web server to be used by multiple development without conflict and the continued isolation of a user workstation or workspace. 50% time is reduced in the development of the client development. And whenever we want to install it, so we have the installation time that's required is 50% reduced. Not only the time is reduced, but also now I have more space that I can use in my installation. Again, no local web installation. Further simplified package build deployment. So again, even removing the local web and enhancing this architecture has further or added on also on the other feature that we were discussing, which is the package deployment. And of course, this will simplify as well the snapshot, where multiple installation and path code are required, so you no longer need to do all of this. Performance Workbench integration. Performance Workbench integrations assist you in parsing and narrowing down the log file content to present information in a format that is easy to interpret. We all know how all log files that are created are very large, and if you want to download them, it will take a lot of time to download them. And not only that, if you want to search an error that happened inside this log file, most of the time it's very complicated because I have to go through this long logs details. So the Performance Workbench integration had provided the option to parsing this file. The parsing of the file, it means I can specify a summary, okay? I can create a summary for this log where I can then download it easier and either search for the error inside of it much faster. Not only that, this summary parse result can also be viewed directly on the Server Manager console. So even if I don't want to download it and view it as external file, I can check it directly on the Server Manager console. And the option of presenting information in a format that is easy to interpret, it is because now I can search or I can highlight what exactly I want to get from this log file when creating the summary log. So this eventually will help me whenever I'm extracting a log, I'm highlighting directly on the part that I want to check and verify. So I don't need again to go through all of the details. This is very quickly related to the technical. Actually, these three technicals are these are the most interesting technical part, but they are not only the technical enhancement. There are many enhancements on the technical perspectives. Let's move now to the functional enhancements. One of the functional enhancements I want to start with is the voucher match automation. Voucher match automation, it is the automation between, automating the match concept between a PO, a receipt, and an invoice. I have a PO, I have a supplier invoice, I have a receipt, and I want to match them directly, automatically together. So this is what the automation does. It's built by a set of rules that help you decide how you want to do this automatic matching. And this automatic matching usually can be done directly or blindly through a UBE that runs in the background on a schedule, or it can be done interactively, so what we call a voucher match processing workbench. The new, or in release 25, the new add-on to this voucher automation was that the option that you can now match through the automation rules a PO with an invoice, which is the two-match option. The two-match option, many before were asking for it, but was not available. Now we have the amendment of the new rules that will create these two-match options. So what are the benefits of the voucher match automation? When you are automating a match of a PO to an invoice, first thing we can highlight on is facilitating the use of AP automation or AP Connect. When you talk about AP automation, what we are mentioning specifically is that I have now a third-party system that scans all the invoices of the supplier and directly sync them to JDE. So you have the PO, which is already approved and created, and we have the synced invoices that's coming from the scanned invoice in front of me. So both of them are there. Instead of the voucher match automation, it's a rule that you decide on using the UBE that runs in the background. It automatically matches this PO to this invoice. So this is how it facilitates them. Having it this, then you can have this full cycle digitalized in this case. So you no longer need any user interference on this level, of course, except for checking and validating mainly. By having this cycle fully digitalized, we are reducing the invoice processing by 80%. Because, I believe most of you, especially the people who are using JD Edwards, you know how much sometimes it takes time and effort just to go and match these invoices to the related purchase orders. So 80, when I'm automating all of this cycle from A to Z, it's creating 80%. I'm reducing the invoicing processes. Again, this will lead to improving accuracy, because whenever I'm going fully digital, it means I have less human error on the system. It means I'm providing more accuracy. And again, this is how the world is going. This is the intention of all of us, to go digital across. Let's move to another interesting subject, which is the process or the automation, or JD Edwards automations. When we discuss about, or when we talk about JD Edwards automation, it's not only the automation part. It goes through, it's a whole process, it's a whole procedure. By saying so, what we are highlighting, we have the first step, which is I am keying in data, the ingest part. So how I'm keying in data? I'm keying in data through all the modules of JDE, which is purchase order entry, sales order entry, approvers, PO ledgers, inventory transactions, and so on and so forth. How these are done? These are, if I want to highlight here about the many enhancements already that has been added inside JD Edwards, is one of them are the E1 pages or the composite pages. In addition to the already known E1 pages, now, if you can see through this here on the screen, I can add a formatted text to my E1 page. This can add like a small manual. This can highlight on the stages that I want, maybe a small note, a checklist for a specific icon. So now I am enriching my E1 page or the ingest part of my automation cycle. That's not only one icon that the user needs to go there. No, he will be aware of what he needs to check or what actually he needs to do. So you're making it more interactive with these small texts that you're adding. In addition to the regular already add-ons like adding graphicals, graphs, and charts, icon on the level of the E1 pages, watch list, and so on and so forth. Another very nice thing, which I know maybe most of us has been suffering is that when creating an E1 page, we could not rename the page. It was locked. We used to save as and just delete the object that was already created. So now in this new release, of course, JD Edwards have resolved this pain area, and now we're able to rename it. In addition to that, when we're talking about UX in general enhancement, we have also to highlight on form extension, and not any form extension. Here we're talking about form exit modifications. So now we have the row and exit and the form exit of JD Edwards, and we can add any link. It can be existing application on a form exit interactively. I don't need a developer to go and amend this form exit there. An existing application, which is very important, an existing application or a custom application or a report. In addition to these two, we're talking about adding a logic extension there directly, an orchestration, a notification that can, of course, if you want to run it interactively, then you can have it directly there. So these are the first stage of the automation and the enhancement of it on this level. Let me think about it as a full cycle again. Let's go back to the big picture. So I'm entering the data. The data, it's part of a flow. I have a process. I have a procurement cycle. I'm entering these purchase orders. And then what should happen? It should go for approval, let's say, for example. Then it should be printed, and so on and so forth. After that, what will happen? I printed, and then we had a blind area somehow on JDE. So the introduction of the new enterprise process modeler is here to highlight on the graphical aspect of this gray area. The processes that you have for your procurement cycle in all its different document types, because we know in JD Edwards, whenever you have a cycle, a new cycle might designate a new document type. Let's say a regular purchase order, local purchases, foreign purchases, requisitions. These are different cycles if we're taking the example of the procure to pay cycle. So now I have a modeler where I can mimic this cycle that has been set in the system, and I can see it graphically to know what could happen or what has happened, and identify my bottleneck. So these two together, which is the modeler and the analysis, they come together. The first step, I'm designing this model in a graphical interface, highlighting what I want to see, how many different cycles. The second thing comes the analysis part. So I have a process owner who needs on maybe daily basis or a weekly basis to highlight where are the bottleneck, what are the analytics that comes with analytics. We'll see this in detail, and then figure out when you know and you can highlight on the main pain area in your process. Because you have this visual aspect, then we can work on building a more efficient solution. The solution in this case, again, going back to the big picture, we have either training for the end user or the other interesting part, like creating validations using logic extensions, which can be done now even on raw exits, on raw level, not only raw exits and forms. Maybe introducing a new workflow to streamline the process, or any other automation with the available orchestration functionality. And this is a solution. Again, we go back to the measure page. So when we talk about the automation process that's coming with JD Edwards new release, we're talking about of a full cycle. It's a cycle. It's a non-stop cycle. You have people keying in data. You have a business analyst creating the models in case you have a new process in the system. Somebody who's modeling the model, creating, verifying what are the issues, creating solution for them. So it's a full cycle of measurements and improvements. So this is the vision that I would like that all of you to see when we talk about automation, specifically when it comes to JD Edwards digitalization. I know I may took a bit long, so let's drill down to the more interesting part. As we said, the second part of this webinar, we will drill down into the process modeler and we will see it directly on JDE. So here we are. I will be logging in as the first user. When we're talking about business modeling, let's take a scenario, or actually the scenario that we'll be working with now is that we are a process owner of the procure to pay cycle, okay? And our job is to go through the current cycles and look for ways to optimize or improve the cycle. Of course, what usually we think about is that I want to have it visualized, an end-to-end procure to pay with and see some KPI matrix. If we take the previous releases, this visualization was not available. We always used to think about the current processes, what we have in the activity rules, the set, and we might be looking into what old workflows or already done for these processes set aside that are very old and maybe not up to date. Again, as I was saying here, I am logged in for this scenario specifically. I'll be using two users. The first user is the business analyst, the power user who's responsible for creating and configuring the process. And then a second user or a role in this day, who will be the process owner and who will be working on analyzing the processes that we currently have. Let me start. I can here select my enterprise processes and then okay. So from managed content, I want to create processes. Here, I want to create a new process. We have currently, with the new solution, two default templates, which are the procure to pay cycle and the order to cash cycle. And 100% in the upcoming release, new models and templates will be amended. To start with, the procure to pay cycle, following our case for today. So I'll be using, it's a purchase order cycle, stockable items. And of course, here I can specify the start end of the cycle. So where does the cycle start? Is it from purchase order entry, or maybe it's coming from a handheld device or a mobile app? So there is another external status that I want to start from. So here it's an option and it's manageable. When we click create, this is the cycle that has been generated. And when we say generated, these are the mimic of a cycle based on the current process setup that we have in the activity rules. So here, what we're seeing now, it's a mimic of what we have in the activity rules, including the other ones till 4 that has been set up. Let me save my cycle. I will call it regular purchase order cycle for process. Okay. Here, always I have this icon that shows the whole cycle, the procure to pay cycle. If I move to the setup, it will tend me back to tell me how was my cycle design, or what is the main design or the parameters that I have set in, which are the purchase order type and the line type. If I click on the preview item, it takes me back to the whole cycle. And here on this option, I have the filter option where I can play with. A very important note, as we were saying, this process is a mirror, a graphical mirror of what you have designed in your processes on JD Edwards. So whatever you have designed, the activity rule, so this is the mirror of it. If I want to drill down into the detail of this mirror, here I can see these are the data filtration and the grouping option. On this level, it is grayed out, so you have it static, but of course, you can modify the filtration. If I go back to my preview, this is the cycle. Let me put it center. Here I have my filter options. So here I'm specifying what filtration I want to have them active or inactive. So I can select that. I can specify what data or I want to see in this cycle because it's a demo instance. So let me go back a bit to 2024. And maybe here, let me say I want to see for all the companies. Yeah, like that. And of course, all the suppliers, if I want to specify specific business units or branch that I want to work with, we can. The same for the supplier and the same for the currencies. Or if I don't want this option at all, as we were saying, we just set it as inactive. I can refresh. The moment I click on refresh, it automatically refreshes. And as you can see, let me close it, my graph change. Now I can see that I have some parameters that has been highlighted on the nodes. These are my nodes and these are my links. Okay. If you want to highlight what are the difference between them, these are all the total order value. If you'd ask me, how did I know that these are the total order value? Here, if you notice, I have the node matrix and the link matrix. I have set of values that I can select from. Like, for example, what is the order? If I want to see it by the total order value or only by open amount or open quantity, or even if I only care about the line count and how many orders, total number of counts is pending at the stage. Maybe I don't want to drill into the detail of an amount or account. If I keep it by order value, the same thing for the link matrix. So again, these are the nodes we were saying, and these are the link matrix. What is the difference between these two? The nodes is always work on the next status, yani any order where the next status is, like for example, here I take is 230, then this is the node. The link, it is specifically, it has the last status 220 and the next status 230. So these are the links between them. As you can see. If I hover on one of these nodes as well, you can see I have a small matrix that it's showing me the total line count, all of the detail of the matrix available. So here, whenever I hover, it shows all the detail, open amount, quantity, and order. Of course, if I'm looking at the whole cycle, here it's only showing whatever I have mentioned here as order and value. Now you may ask as well, you can see that there are some red links and blue links and might be some yellow links. So what are these links, coloring indications? These coloring indication, actually, they are thresholds. So if I open here, expand next, the small icon next to the node matrix, I can see I have the threshold. These are for the matrix, the nodes, and these are for the links. This works similar to what the same logic that we have in watch lists. The same logic that we have in watch lists, this works here. So you can specify and set what is not critical or it requires attention or highly highlight on, what is okay, and what is already good. Not only that, here as well, we can specify the orders, yani is more good or is less good. So the sorting of the values that you want to see, also you can set them in based on this error accordingly. And the same for the nodes and links. Okay. Moving forward, in addition to that, we have here a small show display option the show display option, it manages somehow what you want to see on this graph or this flow that already, this process flow that already we have. We have the option to show an unidentified path. As you can see, my whole flow has changed accordingly. Let me just minimize these, okay? What are the undefined paths? We know sometimes we tend to override statuses manually while creating a purchase order. And again, this is too much because it's a testing environment. It shouldn't be that much in a live environment. It is when you override statuses. So you force a status, for example, a PO can never go from enter purchase order directly to purge status. But here in this case, as you can see, I have it, and I have it here available. So maybe sometimes I need to look on these undefined paths to see why we are doing this, or why we're intending to override these statuses. For what reason? Is there an error? Are there some bottleneck in this process that causing a problem that's forcing maybe an administrator to go and override the status just to process the work so it doesn't get stuck? So these are the points that the visual aspect of the process modeler provides. I might say, okay, I don't care much because this is a test environment that I'm working with. I can specify these are, again, options. So do I want to show the 0 values, or I don't want to show the 0 values? For example, anything that doesn't have any value in it, maybe I want to just directly remove it. And here I can see nothing. No order has been rejected whatsoever from 2016 till 2024. Okay, acknowledgement, for example, for this specific process, I'm not using acknowledgement and supplier shipment acknowledgements at all. So maybe I don't want to show them. They are there as cycle step, but we're not using them. So I can choose not to show these links accordingly. Let's talk about also the labels. If you can see here, I have the purchase order. You might say, okay, sometimes, especially if we're talking about a business analyst, maybe we already, he knows the codes and maybe he's more familiar with the last status and the next status code, maybe more than the description. He feels more flexible in using those. So here we have these different options for the labels. I can use the description and the code together. So both are applicable. I can use only the code, somebody more familiar or he more used to codes of the processes rather than the description, or only the description. So these are only all 3 options that we have at this level. Moving back, I have here what we call analytic options. Analytic options, when I'm viewing the data, when I'm viewing the cycle, this process, okay? Here, if you notice in the filters that we have set, we set everything. And we did not specify any specific company, nor a business unit, nothing. Not even a date. Put a big range of date and that's it. So, view by provide me the option of an additional filtering. And there, on my whole overall process, I want to see everything. But then I might say, okay, let me have the group by company. So now I can see by company, these are all the companies that are defined in my system, how each process is going per company. So again, another visual aspect where I started as a generic level and I can drill down as specific as possible, as you can see here. Okay. Or of course I can. The other option is to go by business unit or branch plans. So here the same, I can specify what branch plan I want to drill down to the detail of my process. So in my case, I want to drill down into checking Eastern Distribution Center and see how my process is going there. So here it comes. So these are the additional filtering that I can use. And another very nice aspect, which is the date. And I have had it. What I've done now, I put a big, large date. So when I ever use date, I have here another subgrouping level, how I want to see the dates. Year, quarter, by month, by day. So I can go as deep as I want. Since this is a big range of data that I have set in the filter, so now here I can go over and check overall. The nice thing about the date, I have the play feature. Like for example here, whenever I click play, it's like a slideshow. So you're only visualizing generally from each year to each year and what are the different records that how they change accordingly. As you can see, until I reach to the current year. Or I can set here, for example, I want to check it by month, and then accordingly, I'm of course checking year month. Let's take this one, for example, 17. So I have it, and then I can validate why I have this much order still stuck here, and it's very old, for example. So this is again, when designing. At this phase, if we go back to our initial scenario, we said we're creating a procure to pay cycle. I know the first login was a system business analyst, okay? That I'm creating this design, I'm setting the filters, I'm setting the options. Maybe here, let me keep it by business unit, okay? Like that, and then I will save it as it is. One very important aspect okay, are the analytics that we have here. These analytics, it can give an indication for the process designer or who's setting up these process models. Like for example here, these are set of analytics. This is the whole process analysis, as we can see, which meaning I can see the spending analysis by business unit, the spending by supplier, how much the percentage of rejection or approval of a specific order. Again, these analytics can be expanded, and we can highlight, expand them, okay? And here I can check the details of each one of them. Only that, there are additional options, like for example, if I want to see it horizontal or vertical, so you can change the view of your graph, how I want to see it, the stack series, the maximum numbers, if I want to show it, or I don't want to show it always, on only the maximum number to show and highlight on it. So these are all graphical options. The other two tabs are related, the analytics related to specific node or link. So if I click on the purchase order here, it automatically displays the analytics of this specific node that I'm on with, which shows me supplier-wise split here across. So here I can see the total value per supplier, total value per company, per business unit. Furthermore, when we talk about, and similarly, if I want to expand them, so the same, I can have stack series, change how the display of the numbers. So again, these are the display of the numbers on the analytic parts. And the same applies for the links. So if I click on the link, automatically the analytics here will change to define or to highlight what I have already here on the links level. So these are the three aspects of the process model. So we have the visualization of the whole process. We have setting up the matrix or defining the matrix that we want, defining the filters, and adding another layers of grouping, which is by company, by business unit, and by date. Let me save this, and let me now move to the other level, which is the process owner. So until now, I'm the designer. Okay. Whenever I log in, the process again, before I move forward, the process enterprise processes follow the same UDOI logic, which is you approve, you share by user, by role, and so on. If I log in as the process owner, this is what I see. So now it's an embedded page in the JD Edwards page, and here I can go through the different processes that I have. This is the process that I have already selected. So this is the part now where I am analyzing, measuring to see where are if there are any bottlenecks on the process, and then propose solutions for resolving these bottlenecks. So similarly, the layers here, the process owner has the option to change in the filters. This is part of his job. He wants to see different filters accordingly. And the same, he can view the layers accordingly. So he can say, I want to see it by specific business unit, what we saw on the process business analyst designer part. Okay, so he has all of these options to do it. The nice thing about it, again, it's embedded inside JDE. He's looking directly, something already readily designed for him. So he has these 3 processes that he need to look into. So he keeps measuring them. A very important note also to highlight on is the snapshot. If I add a filter, okay, this is for they change the business unit. I have the option here to save as a snapshot. This is very important for comparison. I may have different snapshot by week, or mainly bi-weekly, or may also monthly. It depends how complicated our processes are. And I can always compare back to the snapshot that I already took. To know now, or the previous, if I save this one, let's say this one, or if I'm testing multiple processes taken on, let's say, regular purchase order, Feb 13. So now, instead of each time going back, or in case the process changes, I want always to verify what was the process before, or on that date, or before actually done any changes we did. We can always select snapshots, and then from the list of available snapshots here, I can highlight which one I want to choose. This is a very nice feature. So you can always, even when you add on modifications to your process, and because the processes change through time, we don't stick to one processes. We have maybe a new third-party system, a new integration, a new document types there, a new stage have been amended to the purchase order cycle. So keeping a snapshot, not only to keep for the total amount of the records that we have here, because this one, as you can see in the filter of date, maybe you can always get them. No, I'm taking a snapshot of the whole view of the cycle, and I can always compare back. Is this a new addition to my process has caused issue? Let me go back and check back there in 2023. Did I face the same issue before this new enhancement was added? You have this visualization, and the snapshot provide you this comparison option for you to always enhance and optimize your processes in the system. As we can see here. And similarly, we have all the analytics that they can highlight and verify. Yes. They can check and verify the total amounts if they want to go and drill down in the details as follows. So guys, this is all mainly related to the release 25, to the subject that we want to cover in the webinar. I hope you enjoyed it, especially when we talk about the process modeler. And the way we see it is really, it's a big enhancement, the visualization aspect. I know how complicated processes can be and how difficult to view always to get the full picture of a specific process, especially when we drill down into the day-to-day activity. So I believe this is a big step forward into the digitalization. And as JD Edwards is going with the upcoming release and the enhancement, it will not stop here. This is the first release of the process modeler. I believe many enhancements will come. If you still remember where we started in the orchestrations and where we are now. So the same thing will apply for the process modeler. So it's always interesting to work with this journey with JD Edwards new releases as well. So this is it for me. In case you have any questions, I am ready to answer.
Tamara, thank you. I have actually a couple of questions in mind. How can we put the process modeler to identify bottlenecks? يعني نحن we saw the red flags, etc. But can the process modeler be used so that analysts or customers, they can identify that there is a bottleneck somewhere in their business and they need to take action upon that?
Yes, Camille, I believe to answer that, if you see, for example, a total number of order that has been stuck in the approval for 2-3 days, and you're analyzing at the end, the process analysis happens not only in 1 hour or 2 hours, you're analyzing this by days and even weeks. So if you saw that always I have a big bunch of orders, like say 30 orders that are stuck in approval and never are getting processes, then here I would say that I have something in the approval workflow that's causing this bottleneck that must be resolved. So then I will have to drill down what is the approval hierarchy of this specific process that we have. Why it's causing? Are there too many people who's approving? Should everybody in the company go? This order goes to everybody in the company to approve, and this is how then an action should be taken accordingly. This is a small example how it would resolve the bottleneck in a process.
Okay, and in your opinion, Tamara, it's considered a dual-use tool. Yani, is it something that the analyst, the business analyst within the company will be utilizing more, or the end user, or both? Yani, it's geared towards whom?
No, I believe it's not definitely not the end user. It's more on a business analyst, a process analyst, or let me say a power user in the department, and especially when we're talking about a procure to pay cycle, because the person who is working with this tool should have the knowledge of the full picture. And if somebody only works, like say, creates the orders and put deals with the suppliers, he doesn't know what happens next. This tool will not be for him.
Okay. The last point regarding, because in release 25 there is a lot of ready-made out-of-the-box integration with Oracle's AI features that are on OCI. Can we utilize the process modeler to have its entry point from an external system, being an AI integration or a third-party integration? And can we start capturing the records from the minute they start entering the system, or we're not there yet? We're still working with the native tables of JD Edwards.
I believe we're not there yet. This is only the start, because it cannot capture external yet. It cannot capture the starting point of an external or a third-party system. If it's part of the activity rules, again, Camille, and if I say I have status within, instead of starting the purchase order from a purchase order entry, I have a status that I have customly created that is imported from an external order entry, then yes, it will capture it. But to know exactly what happened and when it was entered on an external third party, no, not yet. We're not there yet. Hopefully,
Okay, and that
in the upcoming
applies
release.
also to the outward communication. And for example, many of the JD Edwards customers, they have, let's say, a JD Edwards ERP with a WMS system, or with a CRM system, or with a whatever third-party system. And this data communication happens between, let's say, a WMS system and inventory management, or with JDE. This communication flow, still it's being tracked within JD Edwards. There is no endpoint that can
Yes.
show the data flow outside JD Edwards at this
Yes.
point.
Yes,
Okay.
at this point, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Hi, Eve. Yes, we got your message. Sure, we will be sending you and we will share with you the presentation. Yes, Manal.
Okay, coming on the same point for process modeler, does it cover whatever customization is done? Let's say if we have a batch running, a custom batch in JDE, and then there is a driver report batch, let's say calling multiple batches, would it be part of the process modeler that we can go and analyze and check under which step, let's say, there would be any delay happening?
Okay, very good question. Thank you, Manal, for this question. Actually, as we were saying, this tool is this is the first release of this new tool. Now, this is strictly we will be able to manage and highlight bottlenecks by statuses. So some of the integration may go under a step in the process cycle. So these, yes, you can identify them. But the activities, as you're saying, the UBEs that cause another UBE that happens in the background without actually affecting the status until the end point, no, in this case, you will not be able to capture it, at least not yet.
So you're saying if it is, then we can capture. I'm giving an example.
It's
Let's say
part
we
of
have
the
driver.
status, yes.
Hey, let's say we have driver reports calling confirm shipment and then generate invoice and print layout, which is part of the statuses, so we can identify this.
Yes.
But in terms of process flow, not let's say of batch itself calling, right?
Yes, in terms of a process flow, yes, not the
Okay.
technical aspect that you are
Okay.
highlighting or no. It's on a business perspective, if I want to put it in that term.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Tamara.
Hi, yes,
Yes, Essam.
Essam.
For match voucher automation,
Yeah.
can we consider it as kind of project process automation? And can we automate other processes, like, for example, the bank reconciliation throughout this feature?
Okay, voucher match automation, it's an automation rules that comes with JD Edwards that specifically works with the automation of invoices, POs, invoices, receipts, and POs only. And if you want to highlight if JDE is capable to automate bank reconciliation, yes, this can be done, but not through the voucher match automation feature itself.
So it's specifically for voucher. This process is for voucher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the voucher match automation is specifically for voucher matching. As any other automation, of course, في another automation that we can work on and can be done in JD Edwards. Yes, Diana.
Hi, Tamara. Question for the voucher match as well, because based off what I can see, I can tell you, me and Manal were interested in this section because it was based on our business needs. We see that it's important. So what we need to see if we are no longer using, let's say, APIs to do the manual match. So it's only that we will be setting rules and we generate a report or generate something on the system and automatically the system will be doing the match, or how it really works. No longer APIs or something like this.
Okay, let me divide your section into two parts. When you say APIs, you're saying that you have an electronic invoice that's coming from outside to JD Edwards. This is what you mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, صح? So
no, what I'm saying that currently we are doing this process in some of the market, but we are doing it like because we don't have this feature, we are doing like we are calling an API and we are doing the match between the invoice and the PO.
Okay. So as if you have a customization for the automation matching process. Okay. So yes, this is done within JD Edwards. You don't need APIs if you're talking about that somebody is creating the invoice in JDE, so he's creating this voucher in JD Edwards, and already you have the PO again. If we're talking two-way match, so only we define the rules on the supplier master details. What are the rules and how you want this rule to be applied for the supplier? Because the rules can be either exact match, as you know, it should be 100% to the cent, or it can be a match with a tolerance percentage, a plus or minus. It depends how the invoice and the behavior or the agreement, how the supplier sends these invoices. So the moment you have this rule set, then automatically somebody is entering these invoices, and of course you have your PO, and the match is automatically based on the defined rule that are set by the supplier is happening in the background through, as we were saying, a report, a UBE that does that, or we can have it through a workbench that you can do it interactively. It means you just click auto match, but you can see the whole thing happening in front of you or in front of the user. So yes, again, Diana and Manal, if you're interested to have details on the voucher match automation, please do share an email. Maybe we do a session specifically detailed for the voucher match automation, if this would help you. Great.
Definitely. Thank you, Tamara.
Okay, sure. And yeah, Hannah, I believe, hi, Hannah. I can see also, I saw that you have a question on the Teams. I believe Camille answered you, and yes, we do cover Egypt as well in the JDE implementation. Anybody else like to have additional inquiries? And even guys, and in case if you have or maybe now, maybe after the session, just you can send us emails, any further inquiry, maybe you're interested in some of the technical features maybe that we have highlighted on as well. Just send us a small email, and as I was telling Diana and Manal, we can make a one-to-one session or provide some details on that specific enhancement in this case.
One of the points that we would like to highlight that probably during our next webinar, we can look into two more verticals, yani the voucher match, and there will be a lot of AI being embedded into it. We're actually preparing our labs for that, because Oracle already has many AI engines and AI features that can connect to JD Edwards. So whether it's the next webinar or the one after, because this requires some time for preparation, but I'm sure you're going to find it very interesting as well. And probably we would be sending out some questionnaire or some survey to see what our clients are looking for in the coming period, so that our presentation is geared more towards meeting those requirements or their inquiries or their digital transformation roadmap that they are looking at embarking on.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you for Emil, and thank you, Tamara. But we wish as well to see if there are any additional enhancements on orchestrations. That would be very great if we embed such feature within the next webinars.
Sure. Sure, we'll try to plan that. Maybe again, like Camille is mentioning, maybe we either do another webinar that's fully technical, that drills down into the technical aspects with the details on the orchestration enhancement, including logic extensions, of course, the workflows, and the overall build. Sure.
Yes, great.
Hi, yes, Michelle.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi,
Hello,
how
everyone.
are you? Hi.
I just want to thank you for the nice presentation. You've highlighted many important points so that we will dig more to know more about them. But what Camille said at the end is very important. Now AI is making a huge leap, and everyone is investing in that. So it would be very interesting to see those connectors. Maybe Oracle, maybe other products as well, because it's been done everywhere. We're doing some tests currently, and we would like to know more about it.
Sure, sure. As Camille was mentioning, and already we are, there is a plan on creating a big webinar related AI, specifically with all the different connectors that comes with it. So maybe we'll try to boost on that more so we can, and we will share it with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any additional question? Again, you're always welcome. You can share. Thank you so much. You are always welcome. You can share whatever questions or inquiry you have, whether on the new release or whether on any feature that you have read on it somewhere and you would like to highlight the detail of it with us through email or by contacting us directly, either me or Camille or Bassam or even Samer as well. So feel free, guys. I would like to take the last minute to thank you all for attending our webinar. It was really very pleasant and it was very nice seeing you and meeting you all as well. So thank you so much for your time and thank you for making it such a pleasant time as well. So thank you so much. And again, feel free for any additional inquiries, feel free to share it with us and we'll be more than pleasant to reply to you. Thank you. Thank you, Isam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Samira. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.